The Ultimate Bluetooth and Ultimate Wireless controllers are 8BitDo's newest bet in an increasingly competitive market. They leave behind the design based on the classic controllers and opt for a modern aesthetic, without changing the components that made them famous. But why are there two? And why both look identical when they are so different in price and features? One would think they are an SN30 Pro 2 with a new shape, but the truth is sad. Let's see why. Welcome back. I'm Claudio, and this is Zero to Tech. DPad has earned its place especially among retro gamers for its excellent retro modern controllers. Its main attributes are great quality, compatibility, and a reasonable price. And these new versions are supposed to be the top tier of what they can do, hence Ultimate Controller. But truth be told, they picked the wrong name. To understand why, we have both versions, and we're going to compare them to the SN30 Pro 2, the previous top of the range from 8BitDo. So let's understand the two versions. The first one is called Ultimate 2.4G Wireless Controller, and according to the box, it's only compatible with Windows and Android. I bought it in black, but it's also available in white and pink colors. This is the cheapest one with a $50 price. The second one is the Ultimate Bluetooth Controller, which is compatible with the Nintendo Switch and Windows. And not to confuse them, this one came in white, but it's also available in black. This one cost $70. In addition to the controllers, they also include an A to C cable, the instructions, and the second most important piece, the charging dock, which also includes, in both cases, USB adapters for 2.4 GHz. The general design of the two is identical, more like the Xbox controller with the left stick above the D-pad and the right stick below the front buttons, when the layout of the Pro 2 is more similar to the PlayStation controller. But the D-pad remains the same, which is a true copy of the Super Nintendo controller. The front button layout is different, with the 2.4 using the Xbox and the Bluetooth using Nintendo's layout, just like the Pro 2. Same with the shoulder buttons, but here the Bluetooth version shows L2 and R2 instead of LZ and RZ. They are analog in both cases. Here we can also see the pairing button in the Bluetooth version, and the USB-C port, which you can use to play connected or charge the battery. Both have a switch on the back, the 2.4 version to switch between direct input and X input, and the Bluetooth version between Bluetooth and 2.4. Not confusing at all. While the Pro 2 used a 4-way switch to change the protocol. Both have two programmable buttons and the pins to connect the dock. The Bluetooth one also has 4 LEDs typical to Switch controllers, just like the Pro 2. We can see that the handles have a dot pattern to improve grip. The center buttons are identical, with start and select with the plus and minus signs. The menu button with 8BitDo's heart logo, and the start button for additional functions. There is an additional one to change the profile, and 3 LEDs to indicate which one you are on. All the same as the Pro 2 but in different positions. And the biggest difference with the Pro 2 is the inclusion of the dock. Both are the same. They have a USB-C connector on the back which connects the 2.4 receiver inside and allows the battery to be charged by simply putting it on. And it fits very well. Just put it on and it sets itself in place. Even makes a nice click. Very nice if you use your controller in the same place. Ergonomics are good. The position is comfortable and everything is accessible including the additional buttons. But overall, I like the Pro 2 better. It just molds better to my hands, but it's a matter of taste and nothing to complain about. By the way, it's not the first time they use this design. We saw it first in the Xbox version. I'm also going to compare it with its Pro 2 counterpart, so don't forget to subscribe. So, one is 2.4 wireless and the other one Bluetooth, but both have 2.4 GHz adapter. And one is for Android but doesn't have Bluetooth, and the other one is for Windows but doesn't have a switch for X input. It's too confusing. So let's take a look at all the features, first on paper and then let's see how far can we take them. About the 2.4 version, there is not much to say. You can connect it with a wireless adapter or with a USB cable, to Windows or Android. It supports direct input and X input and you can change it with the switch on the back. But for some reason, on Android, it only works with direct input. The Bluetooth one is focused on the switch, to which you can connect it by cable, the 2.4 adapter or Bluetooth. In all cases, it detects this as a Pro controller, and it also works in Windows connected by cable or with the 2.4 GHz adapter. In both cases, it automatically switches to X input. So let's now check some assumptions. If it connects as a Switch Pro controller, we should be able to connect it to Windows, Android and iOS. And you can. They all detect it as a Switch controller and it works. You just don't have analog R2 and L2, which is understandable. And if the 2.4 adapter changes automatically to X input on PC, it might do the same on Android, but no, it doesn't detect it. Even on the Mister, it does not work with 2.4, but does with Bluetooth. Even weirder, the 2.4 version does not work well on the Steam Deck. After you plug it, there is no problem navigating the interface. Looks like it's okay, but if you boot up a game, it's chaos. Many buttons are not detected, and others get stuck. The same happened with X input or direct input. Also on Android, it only works with direct input, in Mister too, which makes us think that they are controlling the compatibility in some way. The 2.4 doesn't have many additional features. It has turbo mode when pressing the start with any other button, the 2 programmable buttons, and the 3 profiles that you can customize using the 8BitDo Ultimate software. The Bluetooth one has the same features, but also includes a gyro, which you can use connected to the Switch, and you can use it to turn the Switch on. You just have to shake the controller after turning it on. The battery of the 2.4 is 480 mAh and lasts about 15 hours of play, and the Bluetooth one is 1000 mAh and lasts 22. Finally, and a rather important difference between both, is that the cheap one uses ALPS sticks, the same as all the 8BitDos before, but the Bluetooth version uses Hall effect sticks made at Gully Kit, the same as we saw in the King Kong 2, so we will see how much difference they really make. By the way, the rumble is normal, none have vibrating triggers, something that the Xbox version does, which is a pity because it's a feature supported in Windows. The version that works on the Switch also doesn't have HD rumble. Finally, we have the Ultimate software that, like in the Pro 2, allows you to customize. First, it asks you for which mode you are going to change the settings, and then you can select one of the 3 available profiles. And you can change everything: the position of the buttons, the function of the additional ones, the sticks and the analog button dead zones, the strength of the vibration, create macros, and much more. Once saved, it's a matter of pressing the button to change them, and the 3 LEDs indicates which one you are in. There is a fourth with all the LEDs off, which is the default mode. By the way, the Bluetooth version can use the Android and iOS apps to make the changes, but the 2.4 needs a PC. Let's check the latency test. We are using the Mister to make them, so we can only test the modes that it connects with. The Bluetooth one only connected in Switch mode via Bluetooth, and the 2.4 only direct input, but both wireless and USB. The blue bars show the average latency in milliseconds, and the standard deviation in orange. That helps us to know how consistent the latency is. The lower the better. In wireless, the Bluetooth version and the 2.4 GHz versions are virtually even, and we can see that wired does not go down as much, but it's more consistent. As reference, we can see the numbers for the SN30 Pro 2, which is faster and more stable connecting with USB, but slower while using Bluetooth. These numbers are important for choosing a controller, and I'm going to make a video explaining the whole methodology, so don't forget to subscribe. Let's start with the face buttons, which are concave, much like the Xbox controller. They use membrane, and although the shape is different, the travel is almost identical to the Pro 2. The main difference is the spacing between the buttons. The L and R buttons also use membrane, and are much smaller than almost any other we have seen. While those on the Pro 2 pivot from the center, this one goes down evenly. The rest of the buttons feel great. The only ones that don't use membrane are the menu button and the profile change button, which use dumb switches, and the 2 programmable buttons that use micro switches. The D-pad is the same as the SN30 series, which is well known and based on the Super Nintendo controller. In this case, it's a little more recent, so it has a circle around it, but it works the same. It has the typical low pivot and short travel that made it perfect for over 30 years. In the separation test, they have the same results as the Pro 2. It is impossible to make diagonals by accident. You really have to force them when pressing just one direction, but changing to diagonals is easy and fluid. It's easy to know which direction you are pressing. And the same in the sequence test for fighting games. All the special moves come out perfectly at the first try. The pivot is perfect for carrying the move in any direction. By far the best D-pad around, much better than those who are experimenting with micro switches. You will have no complaint, even less if you're a fan of the Super Nintendo's controller. We also tested it with 2D games on Steam, and it works very well. No issues. Better D-pad than any of the first-party controllers. Let's now test the analog buttons, which are the same on both controllers. They are almost identical in shape to the PlayStation 4 controller, and the trouble is the same. It's just a bit shorter than the Pro 2 and the Xbox controller, and it's perfectly smooth with no friction, fairly good. And since one of the two is not compatible with Android, we did the entire set of tests on Windows, where we can see they are super sensitive, with no dead zone at the bottom, but a bit on the top. It's not much, I would say less than 10% of the full throw, but in the Pro 2 it's a bit less. In tests they feel very good. They have enough trouble for having a good control of the acceleration and braking. In Windows, we tested them with Forza Horizon and the two controllers worked perfectly. No adjusting period. They feel very similar to the Xbox controller, but again, without the trigger vibration. And the 2.4G one on Android works as well. The same as in Windows, we tested it with virtually and it works perfectly. No complaints. Now the most interesting part of the review, the analog sticks. At first glance, they are identical to those on the SN30 Pro 2, but they made them taller to give them more throw, which was a great decision. It's now almost identical to the Xbox controller, and this helps a lot with sensitivity. The only issue, they are still a little stiffer than the first-party controllers. The mechanism of each version is completely different. The 2.4 GHz version uses traditional Alps sticks, which we will check first. They have a lot of sensitivity, you barely touch it, and it registers the input. The control is perfect. No dead zone in the lower part, jumps or stops in any movement. Although, there is a little dead zone in the upper part. The only thing is that in the rounding test, they have a 14% margin of error, which is high. This even after calibrating them. And how are the GuliKit sticks in the Bluetooth version do? A little better. They are clearly more sensitive. As soon as you put the finger on them, they send input. Even the slightest movements are detected, and there is no dead zone. In rounding, the left stick have 14% and the right 9.2. Those are not bad numbers, but nothing to brag about, especially when the King Kong 2 had less than 1%, and even the Pro 2 in its no dead zone mode had only 1%. We tested both with the no dead zone mode and there was no change, so there is work to improve in the firmware. But how does this translate to games? Truth be told, they are both great for modern shooters. We tested them with Fortnite, where they have no problems with moving and aiming. Although, the Hall effect sticks are more sensitive. As soon as you put the finger on, you can control the view, and that helps a lot while aiming. But the version with the regular sticks have enough sensitivity for smooth play. In car games, there is not that much difference, although the sensitivity in the lower parts helps. While gaming usually makes this type of adjustments, unless you are playing with a simulator. But in Forza, both versions have enough sensitivity to feel the same. Finally, we have the gyroscope in the Bluetooth version. It works flawlessly. It feels the same as the Pro Controller or the Joy-Cons. We tried it in both Zelda and Fortnite and perfect. If you like aiming with the gyroscope, this controller won't disappoint you. So, what can we conclude? It is not easy to understand what 8BitDo was looking for with these ultimate controllers. I like them. They are very good controllers. Their docks makes it easy to always have them charged and in the same place. And they are very clear about the device compatibility. But the idea of two versions with such different features is confusing. I can recommend the 2.4 version for Windows, but not for anything else. It doesn't make sense for Android if you must connect the USB adapter. On the other hand, the Bluetooth version is more expensive, has better sticks, and is compatible with Switch and Windows. And not officially, but also with Android and iOS with some limitations. But why would you choose it over the SN30 Pro 2, which is compatible with many more platforms and costs the same as the cheap one? Plus, you can get a clip to hold your phone while playing. Yes, the Ultimate Bluetooth has better sticks, but I don't think it's $20 better. Now, why didn't they make a controller with all the features of the Pro 2, but with the shape and sticks of the Ultimate? Because there is competition, something like the GuliKit King Kong Pro 2. Do you wanna know why? Check out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, retro games, modern technology, 0 to tech.